Michael at the foul line. A shot on Elo. Good! The Bulls win it! They win it!
With the first pick in the 2000 NBA Draft, the New Jersey Nets select Kenyon Martin from the University of Cincinnati.
You know, you can play it cool in the hotel. You can say, yeah, you know, it's out of my hands, and whatever happens, happens. And look at the look on the face of Kenyon Martin, the #1 pick in the NBA draft. And how guys dream of nights like these. Already got the hat on. A special moment for Kenyon Martin, and words, you don't even need them. You just look at a situation like that and see a big guy, big and strong and tough, and the tears streaking down his face. Power forward out of Cincinnati, everybody's All-American, Player of the Year. About 19 points a game in his senior season. How about it, guys? Tell me about Kenyon Martin. Hubie?
Well, I think what you have here is a guy who can score facing the basket. He can put it on the floor. He's extremely quick, long arms, an excellent rebounder, and then the key, shot blocking. New Jersey had to improve with a physical presence up front.
Well, Ernie, and also you can take a player to the training table and make him heavy. You can take him to the weight room and make him stronger. But this kid brings something to the table that you can't take him anyplace, and that's hard. And when you put Stephon Marbury with a kid like this, that's just such a Hubie, a natural pick.
Well, I think it best said like this: trap, recover, and rotate to block a shot. I've seen him do that so much. I think he really covers the floor because he is so athletic.
He's the first pick in the draft, and he's standing by with Craig Sager. Craig?
Well, thank you very much, Ernie. Now, nobody's had a more up and down ride than you have. Ernie mentioned how calm and cool and collected you were at the hotel and sitting here. But suddenly we see you with your head on the table like a kid in trouble with his teacher. Then, Commissioner Stern says the #1 pick is Kenyon Martin. Describe your emotions at that point.
It was unreal. I've been through so much over the last 3 months. Me getting hurt and my family seeing me struggle and stuff like that, it was like a relief.
When you broke your leg in the tournament, how concerned were you that maybe the NBA career, everything you'd worked for 3 years, was suddenly over?
It wasn't a concern at the time. I was concerned for my teammates at the time, but later on that day, it kind of hit me that I wasn't going to play. And that was the biggest thing, and I'm glad my mom and my family stuck by me through it all.
The New Jersey Nets definitely are a team on the rise. How do you fit in with that club?
They have some great players like Stephon and Keith Van Horn and Kerry Kittles, and I'm sorry that Jason had to retire because of his injury, and I think I fit in pretty good with those guys.
What about Byron Scott? What do you know about him?
He was a terrific player, and I'm looking forward to get to know him.
Well, congratulations to you, all the hard work, all the patience after the injury. Congratulations to everybody in your family. Let's go back to Ernie on the set.
Thanks, Craig. There was talk after his junior year that he might come out and jump into the draft. Some of his old high school teachers actually went to where he was playing a game and told him stay in school for another year. He did. He's the #1 pick of the New Jersey Nets. Let's go to Dee Lynham, who's with Rod Thorne.
Thanks very much, Ernie. Rod, we just heard Kenyon, and obviously an emotional moment for him. But what most impressed you when he was here in the last 10 days?
Well, I think, Dee, when you look at Kenyon Martin, you're looking at a player who has gotten better every year. And you're looking at a player who works extremely hard, and you're looking at a player who can play multiple positions, and you're looking at a player who still hasn't peaked. So we feel extremely fortunate to be able to draft a player of Kenyon's ability, but also of his character and also with his work ethic.
Talk a little about how you anticipate his game would be complemented with Keith Van Horn's game.
Well, Keith is 3'4". who can, play offensively at both 3 and 4, basically as a 4 defensively. We think Kenyon can play 3-4. We think he can cover 3s. We think he can also cover 4s. So we think they're going to be a tough matchup problem for the other team.
Thanks very much. Continued success. You've been a busy man. Ernie?
All right, thank you very much, Dee. Let's weigh in with Charles Barkley now on the #1 pick. And you kind of said if they take Kenyon Martin first, you don't know what's going to happen the rest of the way. But what do you make of New Jersey's first selection?
Well, the only question why he wouldn't have been the #1 pick was the injuries. He was by far and away the best player in college basketball this year, and there was no question. New Jersey got a great choice. The only thing is it's a crapshoot from now on. And I'm kind of excited to see what's going to happen the next 3 or 4 picks.
Well, the next pick, thank you, Charles, belongs to the Vancouver Grizzlies, and their time is running out, about 20 seconds to go. Quickly, Vancouver got burned at #2 with Steve Francis last year. Is Stromile Swift the guy? It seemed to be a consensus.
Well, what they're looking for is the best athlete, and this is a young player at 6'10", 6'10.5", that can block shots, run. He can make the jump shot at 3-point range, and he has nothing but an upside. This guy is blessed with a ton of talent.
Let's go to the podium and the commissioner of the NBA, David Stern, with the #2 pick.
With the 2nd pick in the 2000 NBA Draft, the Vancouver Grizzlies select Stromile Swift from Louisiana State University.
Stromile Swift, an early entry candidate after his sophomore year at LSU. And he had told people, oh, Vancouver picks me, that's fine with me. There was going to be no situation here reminiscent of last year when Vancouver picked Steve Francis, and there was disappointment, and there was eventually a trade to the Houston Rockets. But the big fella, 6'9.5", 220, makes his way toward the handshake that all these guys talk about. Can't wait to go up there and shake a hand. And a photo op. Tell me about Stromile Swift, John.
Well, I had an opportunity to recruit this kid several years ago, and one of the things I like about him is he's a family kid, so he's going to be a team-oriented kid. And one of the things, he's mobile. All of his game is upside. Right now, I see him more as a 3 because of the fact that he's got to get stronger. He's mobile, he's agile. After he gets older, he'll be hostile.
I agree with Coach Thompson right there. He's a power forward, but he's lacking the power right now. But all the offensive skills, he puts the ball on the floor, he runs, and he definitely will go upstairs to get things and dunk on people.
Dunk on people and swat stuff away. He had 11 blocks in one game against Alabama in a triple overtime game, and blocked 95 shots, and the only guy at LSU who's ever blocked more was, Shaquille O'Neal. So Stromile Swift, the #2 pick, going to the Grizz, and here's Craig.
Well, he went to high school in Shreveport, turned down John Thompson at Georgetown to go to LSU, but you're not going to turn down Vancouver. How do you feel about going to the Grizzlies?
I don't know. I'm very pleased that they selected me as the #2 pick, and I'm just looking forward to making an impact in Canada. I'm just happy to be here.
What do you know about the team? What about Sidney Lowe? He was here as an assistant head coach with Minnesota, very popular player.
I don't know. I got a chance to meet with him, with the staff and everybody, once I got to Vancouver, and I don't know, everything just like fitted in perfect for me. It was like a good situation, and I know I'm happy that they was pleased with my performance at the workouts, and I'm just looking forward to just contributing to the program.
It's one of the most beautiful cities in North America, but Coach Thompson also mentioned what a family guy you are. How does your family feel about you going all the way up to Vancouver?
I think they're pretty cool with it. I don't think they want to move up there. They're going to come visit a lot, and I don't know, I'm probably going to come back home when the season's over with, so I believe they'll be pretty good about it.
Congratulations. Have a great career there. Let's go back to Ernie.
They're ready now with the #3 pick. The Clippers are, and here's the commissioner.
With the 3rd pick in the 2000 NBA Draft, the Los Angeles Clippers select Darius Miles of East St. Louis High School.
They call him Little KG. Kevin Garnett was the number 5 pick in '95. Here in the year 2000, the 3rd selection overall, high schooler Darius Miles. This guy has been described so many ways in the weeks leading up to the draft as the enigma of the draft, as the future in the NBA. Michael Jordan saying, I would pick this kid in a heartbeat. And here he is, all of 18 years old, making his way to Commissioner David Stern. He's got all kinds of skills, doesn't he, Hubie?
Yeah.
He can palm.
I love that. That was nice.
John, you know him well. Darius Miles.
Well, you know, I think that the value of this kid is what is so significant. I mean, you can't go wrong in selecting a guy like that, wouldn't you say, Rick? Because his value is as significant as his ability. If you don't use him immediately, you know eventually he's going to be a star and has a tremendous trading value also.
His ball skills are so special. He gets to the foul line with frequency. He gets to the paint. He's a very good decision maker on the pass. And as I had said earlier, if he develops an outside shot, I think he's going to be a superstar.
Rick, the only thing I would say that for a young kid coming into the NBA, stability is everything. And going to the Clippers, to be honest, is not a great deal of stability. And so you don't know how you can develop, and you don't know what's going to happen in the next 3-4 years in that franchise. And it could hinder the things that he can do athletically as a player.
But at least Hannibal Lecter Marbury didn't get a chance to eat.
If you're just joining us, a reference to Peter Vessi's line from before. The high school kid making the jump to the NBA, and he's with Craig.
Well, I already mentioned 5 years ago, Kevin Garnett, the #1 pick of Minnesota. He turned that team into a perennial contender. You know, now go to the Clippers. What have you learned from KG, from Kobe, from those before you?
Man, KG is my idol. That's my favorite player, him and Chris Webber. I look at KG more than Chris Webber because he's in the same position that I am, and he went through the same thing that I'm going through now. He's a great man, he's a great player, and hopefully I can be a great player like he is today.
We're joined by your mother, Ethel. The Clippers feel he's ready to play in the NBA right now, but what concerns do you have about this 18-year-old next to me, about the lifestyle in the NBA, and is he ready?
I think that he's ready for it, and the last year Darius has really matured, and he'll have family to back him no matter where he goes and what he does.
He's 18. For 16 of those years, you've been driving a bus in East St. Louis. What does this mean to you and the family?
Oh, it's really great. It's really great. We thought that this would come later, but it came early, so we're here and we're ready to handle it.
Does Mom move with you, or does she still drive the bus?
Yes, my mom, my little cousin, and my mom's boyfriend. We all will be together so I can have some family back at home because this is a big world out there.
Well, congratulations. They both got promotions tonight. Let's go back to Ernie.
All right, thank you very much, Craig. And Darius Miles, 18 years old. In fact, after he held the press conference to announce that he would apply for the draft, he did not answer many questions. He had to leave and get stuff for the prom. He's the #3 pick. Let's go to the commissioner. Chicago's up.
With the 4th pick in the 2000 NBA Draft, the Chicago Bulls select Marcus Fizer from Iowa State University.
The Big 12 Player of the Year. Another early entry candidate coming out after his junior year, and he's selected by the Chicago Bulls, who have a half-dozen picks in this draft.
Well, the way I look at it, Ernie, is that they're saying that they'll play him at the small forward position opposite Grant. The reason is he's 6'7", 250. He's not a great rebounder. He can low post you. Now, when you play the triangle offense, all the positions are interchangeable. This guy can score, and he can put the ball on the floor. He's got a terrific game, 15 to 18 feet. So in the triangle, when you're interchangeable, this is a solid pick for them because this guy is a proven scorer.
Number 8 scorer in the nation at nearly 23 points a game, Kenny.
He's a proven scorer, Hubie. But the thing is, a lot of these kids that's coming into the draft right now physically aren't ready. This guy is physically ready to play in the NBA. He has the body. He has everything going for him. Now, it will be interesting to see him at the small forward position because he really is a power forward in the NBA.
It's interesting that he's the strongest player in the draft, so he'll be able to oversize that position right there. But he's definitely going to have to struggle defensively, and I don't know how they're going to do that. He's going to have a lot of problems keeping people in front of him off the dribble.
Marcus Fizer, picked by the Chicago Bulls at number 4. Here's Craig.
Well, after being named the Player of the Year in the Big 12, nobody probably worked harder than you did. You actually moved to Chicago. Coincidentally, they picked you. How have you improved since the season ended?
I've improved a lot. You know, being in Chicago, working out with Tim Grover, who's one of the best in the business, you know, just gave me the perspective on how to come into the NBA and just to play hard, you know, to get ready for this point.
We showed a feature earlier about your family situation, the fact that your legal guardians, Robert, Sheila, Frazier, lost the only home you ever knew. Now that you're going to be in a position to help them financially, what are your plans?
It's great. You know, Robert and Sheila has been there for me ever since I moved with them, and they've helped me along in life ever since I moved down there at 14, 15 years old. And it's just going to be great to be able to help them and to help my biological mother and father that's in Louisiana that's with me here now.
Elton Brand went to Chicago, became Rookie of the Year. The opportunities are very immense there. Do you know Brand, and how will you fit in playing with him?
Yes, me and Elton are very close. So is me and Ron Artest. We're all classmates. And it's going to be great to be there playing with them again. I know Coach Floyd is a great coach, and I know he's going to coach us extremely hard. And I'm looking forward to the challenge.
Well, Coach Floyd gets his man once again in Chicago. Let's go back now to Ernie.
Let's go to the Commissioner, David Stern, with Orlando's pick.
With the 5th pick in the 2000 NBA Draft, the Orlando Magic select Mike Miller from the University of Florida.
And Bob Lorenz had mentioned that in his brief report there, that Doc Rivers liked this kid. 2 years at the University of Florida. A hero in South Dakota. And a top 5 pick in the draft.
All right, we'll take care of you.
A scout who will remain nameless had taken a look down there and said, without question, this was the guy on that Florida team.
I love this guy. He oversizes the 3 position. He's got a terrific middle game. He can take you off a dribble and off a live ball move, and he's an outstanding passer. He has the best bounce pass in college basketball to the post. Now Doc's got to get a post other than Doliak, or Doliak could be the beneficiary of that pass. But this guy really involves his teammates. He's the consummate team player, moves extraordinarily well without the ball, and sees the floor sensationally.
They call him skinny, and you kind of see why there. Kenny?
I like his game because he's the guy, if you're in the park, in the summer league, he's the first pick because he's got all the tricks, he knows how to do it, and he's 6'8" doing this stuff. Most of the guys that do the things that he can do are 6'3". He moves without the ball, he can beat you off the dribble, and he shoots a 3. Hubie, I like him.
Yeah, I see what he is. He's an excellent scorer because he can do it on the catch from 3-point range. He can run the pick and roll as well as the guard can. He can get into the paint and finish with either hand. Now, let's look at their small forward position. I know Outlaw is a free agent, but they still have Matt Harpring, they still have Maggette, and they still have Garrity. So, you know, they have a log jam of talented people at that position.
Mike Miller's big moment came in the NCAA tournament against Butler.
5 seconds left. Dupay comes up. Dupay wheeling and dealing. Mike Miller has the ball. Miller drives down the lane, shoots it up, and it's good! And the Gators have won the game! The Gators have won the game! Oh, my! Oh, my! Mike Miller drove down the lane and made a basket as the horn sounded, and the Gators have snatched defeat from the jaws of victory as they've won the game, 69-68. Oh, my.
And now this year, we'll have Kevin Harlan providing those screaming highlights when you make those game-winning shots. What's it like? Teams always look for the guy who wants the ball with the game on the line. Describe the pressure.
There's a lot of pressure in it, but, it's a lot of fun, too. When it comes down to the end of the game, you always want the ball in your hands. If you're going to make the mistake, make it be yourself that makes the mistake. But, it's just great that Coach Donovan had the confidence in me to do that.
2 years ago, you're playing in a high school gym in South Dakota surrounded with corn murals. Now you're in the world of magic in Orlando. How have you changed? How's your game improved?
I think it's improved drastically, and that's just credit to the University of Florida and the coaching staff and how much they work for me, And you just got to thank them, and you thank everybody that I played with. But, it's been fun, and now I made a big step from South Dakota, and I'm staying in Florida, and I'm so happy. It's the best place for me.
Well, congratulations. Good luck. Let's go back to Ernie.
All right, thank you very much, Craig. 5 picks down here in the first round of the 2000 NBA Draft from the Target Center. The Atlanta Hawks are on the clock. We'll be back with their pick at number 6 after this. The chiseled frame of Marcus Fizer, the number 4 pick of the Chicago Bulls, and Mike Miller, the Florida Gator, and the pride of South Dakota. Pick number 5 by the Orlando Magic. The Atlanta Hawks are up, and Commissioner David Stern is ready to announce it.
6th pick in the 2000 NBA Draft, the Atlanta Hawks select Marr Johnson of the University of Cincinnati.
And you can make that 5 underclassmen in a row. Marr Johnson coming out after his freshman campaign with the Bearcats, Conference USA All-Freshman Team and the Freshman Player of the Year, scoring nearly 13 points per game. And he's taken by the Atlanta Hawks. And while I've got a chance in the Atlanta Hawks situation here, one of their longtime scouts is Gary Wertman, who cannot be here tonight. His son Brock is at the Atlanta table tonight, working the phones as they pick Marr Johnson. And Gary Wertman has some serious health issues going on right now. Our prayers are with him and his wife Angie. Not only is Gary a great evaluator of talent, he is a gentleman in every respect. We wish him well tonight. They take Marr Johnson with the number 6 pick in the first round. John?
Well, this kid, I've seen him play also ever since he was a kid. You point to the position on offense and he'll almost play it. Really, as he gets older and stronger, I wouldn't be surprised if he wouldn't go into the front court and play a little front court. But he can handle the ball extremely well. He can shoot the ball extremely well, and he can hit the open player. As I said, any way you point to on offense, he can play it. Needs to improve a little bit more defensively and rebounding.
Well, I like for the Hawks, they had to make a decision. What are you going to do with Jimmy Johnson? Are you going to play him as a small forward or a 2 guard? You also have Dion Glover. So by taking Johnson, you have a player who can give you a small forward position or a 2 guard. He can post up. He's a great catch and shoot guy, and he shot a very high percentage from the floor as well as in threes. And John, as his body develops, he's still a young man. He could solidly move into that front court with ease.
Marr Johnson, a good fit for the Atlanta Hawks, huh?
Yeah, I think so. He's very similar to Mike Miller, but Mike Miller's a little bit stronger. His body's a little bit more developed. And I think they're the same type of players, and if they could go flip-flop, they can shoot the long-range shot as well as beat you off the dribble. And his best years are definitely ahead of him as his athleticism even increases as his body gets stronger.
He's hanging out down there with Craig Sager. These players not only want to meet the commissioner, they want to hang with Craig. Go ahead.
Well, I don't know about that, Ernie, but I talked to his mother, Sharon, last night. She said she could never get you to go to sleep before Christmas. Christmas Eve, you'd always stay up waiting for Santa. Did you sleep last night?
I went to sleep a little late, and I tried to sleep all day until this time, but we had things to do in the morning, eating, picture taking.
A couple big days today for a couple of Cincinnati players. What was it like for you guys back there together with your college coach, Coach Huggins, and what was it like for the whole school?
It was great. I haven't seen Coach Huggins in like 2 months, and I'm with Kenyon every day. Me and Kenyon, we work out. We become real close since the season's been over, and it's just been, it's great for both of us, to be back in that room together like that.
Only 1 year. Freshman, you came out, but you hear the scouts say this guy has a chance to be a real star. What does that mean to you?
I mean, I got expectations, you know, from people. I got to work hard. I got to try to become the best player I can.
You think you'll sleep tonight?
Yeah, I sleep tonight.
All right, congratulations. Let's go back to Ernie.
Marr Johnson going to the Atlanta Hawks with the number 6 pick. You know, if you were with us as we began the draft segment of the show, we asked the top 5 selections of Rick Majerus and Peter Vesey and Kenny Smith, and the results are in now. There are the actual selections, and there are the selections that these guys said would happen. So I guess Rick Majerus is our champion. This is an emotional time for us, Rick. We have some lovely parting gifts in the home version of our game for you. Thank you for stopping by. No, that's wonderful. What do you make of this Marr Johnson situation? You like it?
Here's something interesting in light of Kenyon Martin's being drafted. 43 players in the NBA are now younger than Kenyon Martin. And I bring that up at this time because Marr Johnson's his teammate and a freshman in college.
That is 5 straight underclassmen chosen here in the first round of the draft after Kenyon Martin's selection. The Chicago Bulls are up next. Let's check in again with the Czar up there in Chicago. Now, where do they go?
I don't think there's any question that they need big people. They need size. The name here that everybody thought they might take at number 4 was Chris Mihm. The alternative to that is Joel Przybilla. So expect a big player taken at number 7.
All right, thank you, Mike. Chris Mihm, of course, is the big fella out of Texas, and Joel Przybilla out of Minnesota, and dropped out of school here, and we'll see what kind of reaction when he does get when he is named here eventually in the draft of the year 2000. If you're the Chicago Bulls, you've heard from what Mike had to say, Hubie. What's your thinking?
Yeah, I think that last year Ron Artest put up his best numbers when he played at the 2-guard position. When they played him at small forward, he had difficulty. So right now, if they keep Fizer, you have Brand, you have Fizer at the forward positions. You can move Artest back to 2. Now, this is without signing a free agent. So right now, you know they do not have a player at the center position, not one. So I think it will be difficult for them to go away from that unless their evaluation is that they do not feel that either of the centers that are remaining can step in and begin to start.
The Chicago Bulls with their 2nd pick of the first round, and their time is up. Here once again the commissioner.
With the 7th pick in the 2000 NBA Draft, the Chicago Bulls select Chris Mihm from the University of Texas.
Chris Mihm, just the 2nd Texas Longhorn to post back-to-back 300-rebound seasons. LaSalle Thompson was the other. One scouting report I saw said this guy has really improved over last year. Is he the best center out there, guys?
We've played him for 3 years, and I'll tell you what, he's improved each of those years. But he's searching for a go-to move in the low post. That's the first thing he's got to develop. He's a very skilled player, not quite as athletic as you'd like. He has to become more dominant and take a more physical presence to the game. Now, he can go high and low post, and he has nice passing skills, and he's very unselfish. But like Luke Longley, I think he'd be more pleased, and John can speak to this being a big man. You want him to have the mindset to score.
Well, you definitely want him to have the mindset to score, but with Elton Brand and Fizer in the mix, you can go smaller and still have strong post-up people. But I still think they need speed in looking at that team. So I think Jerry's in the process of developing a team. We haven't heard the end of the Chicago story yet.
Yeah, you look at this team with the Bulls, what they have. They also need backcourt help. You know, they're young, they're energetic, but what they are that they hadn't been before is very physical basketball team now. They're young players with Fizer, Brand, and Artest now, and even now Mihm are physical. So they're going to be a physical team, a different look than you expect from the Chicago Bulls.
The personal side of Chris Mihm, he is a multi-talented individual. Big tennis player growing up, as a matter of fact. Here's some rare footage of the 14 and under division. This is before he became 6'11", 265, but he was a ranked junior. In fact, his dad Gary played at Marquette, played some tennis there, and he is with Greg Sager.
Oh, you're right, Ernie. We also saw a shot of his mother, Nina, who is also an athlete at Marquette University. Talking about the tennis, do you think that help your athletic ability? I know a lot of teams, Chicago, one of them, were surprised because they didn't see that on the college basketball floor.
I really think so. I think anytime you can do a lot of sports growing up, it helps you out in so many areas. Tennis definitely helped me out with my footwork and helped me become a lot quicker on the basketball court for my size.
After watching the draft for as long as you can remember, what's it like to be on center stage and part of it?
It's a dream come true, it really is. To be in the green room, to be out here now, to be a lottery pick is just fantastic. I'm really excited and looking forward to getting on with it now.
The Bulls contemplated taking you at 4. They couldn't be happier that you're at 7. How do you feel about going to Chicago?
Well, it's definitely one of the places that I enjoyed going, and they got a great staff. They want to be winners. It's going to be an exciting team to play for.
You have a lot of interviews to do today, but your parents, Gary and Nina, do you think they could go up to the set and kind of help Ernie, because he has to go right to Wimbledon after this, and he could use a few pointers?
Yeah, I'm sure they'd be happy to help him out a little bit.
All right, thanks a lot. Back to the set.
With the 8th pick in the 2000 NBA Draft, the Cleveland Cavaliers select Jamal Crawford from the University of Michigan.
Jamal Crawford at 6'4.5", 175 pounds. He grew up in the Seattle area, moved down to LA, and then wound up playing his ball in Michigan. And in fact, he played a lot of summer ball with Doug Christie, Sean Kemp out there in the Seattle area. Has honed his game and really credits Doug Christie a lot with refining his skills.
Well, I think in Chicago that he proved that he can handle the basketball. Now, you know that at Michigan they played him at a point position, but when you run the passing game, you know, you're not prepared to be a point guard in the NBA at the get-go. This young man, though, has got incredible offensive skills. He can take it on the dribble, he can run the screen and roll, he's got perimeter game, and he can finish in the paint. Now, you can play him as a 2. Now, with Bobby Sura leaving, they have Person at 2, and there is an opening for another player at that position. Now, the big question mark here is do they keep him, or is there something else going on as we move through this draft?
Well, he's not accustomed to playing without the ball, though. He's had the ball in his hands throughout his high school career and briefly at Michigan. So I think it's going to be difficult. I was hoping they'd get someone to set a pick for Andre Miller, or a post guy that I think the best young guard in the NBA can pass to in Miller. But it's a surprising pick to me.
On the personal side of Jamal Crawford, you will notice when you see him play, and you saw from the highlights there, that he wears the headband, and growing up in the Seattle area, he does this in honor of Slick Watts, who obviously used to wear it. It is his trademark, and says it will continue. In fact, he told me that the other day, that as he goes to the NBA, that's what I do, and I'm going to wear it. Here he is with Greg.
Well, Jamal, you talked about doing this a year ago. Now that your dream has come true, you realize that what have these last few days been like for you?
Man, they've been wild. They've been the best days of my life. I've been really anxious, really nervous, and it's just a great feeling.
A great day for you, just as it is for all these kids, but also the entire families. We have 3 generations of Crawfords. We have your son, Eric, and your father, Clyde, who played college ball at Oregon. What have you taught your son? What does this mean for you guys?
First of all, you give praise to God. This is meant to be his destiny against all odds. He never quit. He never said die. You know, we just thank God for this scenario. You know?
When did you see something in your son that he could take it to the next level?
Good question. I speculated about when he's about 5 or 6. You know, I saw it then. It's a blessing. You know, he's a good person as well as a good ball player.
And we learn never give up the mic, even if he's a cute kid. What about this move here? The entire family, your dad played basketball all his life but never made it to the next level. What does this game mean to you?
I mean, I play it all out. I love it. I've been doing it my whole life. I have a passion for the game, a zest for the game. I think I'm a student of the game. That's definitely going to help me in the long run.
He's so cute, I can't let him. I have to give him the mic. Yeah. Ernie, you can take it over. Here you go.
Go ahead, buddy.
How you doing?
Hi.
Oh, hi.
Baby.
All right, thanks, Craig. Now you're going to send him up to do my job, too. Now you've gotten the Mims to come up here and help me. And here's Eric Crawford doing the same. Jamal Crawford chosen at number 8 by the Cleveland Cavaliers. And, you know, there is a story going around Michigan that David Terrell on the football team actually beat Jamal in one-on-one 10-9. That's a story that David won't stop telling. We'll be back. David Stern is ready. Let's see where the Houston Rockets go.
With the 9th pick in the 2000 NBA Draft, the Houston Rockets select Joel Przybilla from the University of Minnesota.
Joel Przybilla was prepared for this. You hear some cheers, but you hear a lot of boos. He dropped out, left the team before the season was over. And now when he finally makes his way out here into the arena, we'll see what happens.
This is a shame because he's young and he made a bit of a mistake in leading Minnesota early, but he's a good player, and this should be a nice day for him. He's a terrific shot blocker. He patrols the paint. He's got great lift, and he's the best runner at the 5 position in the draft. He's really going to impact Houston, I think, and be rewarded. He really has elevation. He not only blocks shots on the ball, but off the ball as well.
Yeah, I think he's a good player. I've watched him play since his AAU days, and I think he's a great shot blocker, like Coach has just said. The other thing that I think he can do, because Steve Francis can find people in traffic. He can catch the ball in traffic and still finish on the block. So that's going to be a good addition to the Rockets.
Yeah, see, he's a guy who can get the ball in the post area and pass the basketball. That's one thing he can do. We know that he can rebound and block shots. Now, when you look at Houston and realize that Barkley's retiring, and then Rodgers, Massenberg, and Big Miller are free agents, this is an excellent choice for Houston.
That's the big body that Charles Barkley referred to as we talked to him about Houston's selection. On the personal side for Joel Przybilla, football player growing up. And we have from the archives, he's always looked good in a helmet. And probably wishes after he'd heard that reception tonight he had one on tonight, but did not. And he is a top 10 pick, number 9 by the Houston Rockets, and he is with Greg Sager right now.
Well, they're definitely cheering this pick in Houston, but here in Minnesota, they're a little upset because you didn't finish your sophomore year. How tough have these last few months been for you?
They've been really tough, but, you know, I'm so happy now. I'm satisfied where I'm heading. Houston's a great place. I had a great workout there, and I'm really satisfied with getting to learn from the dream, you know, Elijah.
Well, Hubie mentioned this is a great pick for the team. Charles Barkley mentioned they need big bodies. What about the physical play of the NBA? Are you ready for this 82-game season and banging with the big bodies out west? Yeah, that's a question I get asked a lot, but I think so. I think there's a lot for me to work on. I'm really dedicated, put the hard work into it, and I've got to be mentally tough for those 82-plus games. We saw some of the other sports you played. How athletic are you? I don't know, you know, I think I bring a lot of things to the table, but I mean, I just go out there and work hard every day, and I want to improve it as much as possible. Well, you got a good round of applause from Charles Barkley in Nashville, and they're cheering you in Houston, so have fun today. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Orlando is up next with a number 10 pick, so things getting a little snippy here between the Orlando Magic and the Chicago Bulls here, but you expect that sometimes on draft night, don't you, Coach? You've been in those war rooms.
Yeah, what we said at the top that if the Clippers threw a curveball, it was going to mess up 3 through 10.
That was a knuckler. That wasn't a curve.
That's right. And that's why when you sit in that war room, you have the first pick, second pick, and third pick in order. And then when you lose them, they're off. But everyone has to keep agreeing to that second or third guy that you're going to pick. Now, the thing which makes this draft so incredible is that we have the Chicagos and the Orlandos sitting there with so many choices.
With the 10th pick in the 2000 NBA Draft, the Orlando Magic select Keyon Dooling of the University of Missouri. Keyon is not here.
Bingo, Peter Vesey. We'll knock that one down on your column. Good call there, as Keyon Dooling is chosen by Orlando, but this is all part of a grand scheme with the LA Clippers down the road. So Orlando basically drafting him to be dealt. But this is a guy who has really turned a lot of heads.
He's a great athlete. He's more of a two-guard. He shoots the ball well and he thinks shot first. When he comes off of a pick on the ball, he's looking for himself, as well you should, and then fall into the pass, but he's looking to score. He likes to break you down. He's got another guy with a good middle game. He's a good passer, but his mindset is to generate points. He's got great range, and he has a scorer's mentality, so it's interesting. He could be a combo guard, but I think he's more of a two.
What's been happening is he goes to these workouts. He's been working out against point guards with big reputations coming out this year, and he has more than held his own, and that's why I think that you're seeing this. And you have to remember now, Murdoch is the point guard at the Clippers, and we know that he was a two-guard throughout most of his career. So it isn't something out of the ordinary for this organization to do, to draft a player like this. But give him credit. He's moved up in the draft through hard work and then taking guys on one-on-one in all of these things and enhancing his reputation.
I have a trade to announce. The Chicago Bulls have traded the rights to Chris Mihm to Cleveland for the rights to Jamal Crawford plus cash. With the 11th pick in the 2000 NBA Draft, the Boston Celtics select Jerome Moiso, who played at UCLA and was born in Guadeloupe, West Indies.
And so Jerome Moiso, and you heard the commissioner refer to his time spent at UCLA. Was in Paris, was in the West Indies, started playing the game when he was 6 years old. Visited the United States in '97, played in Orlando at the Summit, the Nike Summit down there. And coming out after his sophomore year, Rick, what do you like about him?
Great athlete, one of the best athletes in the draft, and extraordinarily long. He has to play through a bump, though. He doesn't finish on a hit. He's got to bring more defensive intensity to the floor, do a better job of coming to block shots. He is a shot blocker, and potentially as good a shot blocker as Theo Ratliff or anyone in the NBA. He's a lefty. I think he can run the floor better than anyone perhaps in this draft. He's incredibly skilled relative to his hands. He's got good hands, he catches in traffic, and his ball skills are good. He's going to have to work his way into a 4 spot because he won't be able to play a 3.
See, with Fortson a free agent behind Antoine Walker, this is a guy at his size with the long arms who's an outstanding offensive rebounder. With the left-handed presence, he can put the ball down on the floor. In all of the workouts, this guy is getting high grades every place that he has been, because he can even give you a little backup as he develops, even as a backup 5, if you are pressing and trapping down the floor. He's an interesting talent.
And with his Parisian upbringing, he speaks fluent French. In fact, yesterday, in a media availability, he was at a table with a guy from L'Equipe magazine discussing the NBA draft. I don't know if they were talking about Les Celtics or not. How about it, Craig?
Well, Ernie, you mentioned that he started playing basketball at the age of 6, but he told me he quit at the age of 9. What didn't you like about the sport?
I don't know, I was just relaxed, from the island, liking the sun and the beach, so I just wanted to chill, and I got back at it at 13, and that was it. I was back in full strength.
Grew up in the West Indies, you represented France in a few tournaments, now you go to the tradition of the Celtics. What does that mean to you, and what does this mean for the people back in the West Indies?
Well, I guess, it's a first for the guys in the West Indies in Guadeloupe, having me in there, that's a great thing for my island. And going to Boston, it's a great tradition of winning, and after UCLA, nothing can be better than that.
we're with your college coach, Steve Lavin from UCLA. Now, the Celtics need a lot. They need defense. What can this guy do for this team?
Well, Jerome at both ends of the floor is extremely talented, extremely gifted, so he'll give you a presence at both ends of the floor in the paint. And I really think in terms of skilled players in this draft for his size, he's probably the top. And in terms of my career, he's probably the most gifted player for his size that I've ever coached.
You do a good job for the Celtics then.
No question, and he's used to playing underneath the banners, 11 championship banners UCLA, and now all the banners in Boston, so he's used to that.
All right, congratulations. Let's go back to Ernie.
All right, thank you, Craig. Let's talk about the trade that went down. John Thompson, this Jamal Crawford situation, Chris Mim, Chicago dealing with the Cleveland Cavaliers. Makes sense to you?
Well, you know, I definitely think it makes sense, and that was the thing that I was saying earlier about the fact that Jerry trying to formulate a team. I think a lot of people right now are getting people not only so that they can use them, but so that they can manipulate a little bit to try to help to improve the team.
Welcome back. With the 12th pick in the 2000 NBA Draft, the Dallas Mavericks select Etan Thomas from Syracuse University.
Number 6 in the nation in blocks, first team all Big East. Etan Thomas of Syracuse going at number 12 to the Dallas Mavericks. John?
Well, one of the weaknesses of Dallas is rebounding, you know, and this kid, I just love him. You know, I think he's had so much upside, it is just unbelievable. His work ethic is hard. He's a tremendous shot blocker and just loves to rebound. So I think that they have a tremendous pick here. I like him a lot better than some of the people even that were picked before him.
Yeah, I like him too, Coach. If you look at what the Dallas Mavericks have, you say, well, you have good Michael Finley out there. He's a good defender, good offensive player. You got Nowitzki, great offensive player. But they don't have a defensive presence. Here he is, walking through, going up the stairs, your defensive presence.
Well, I think when you look at it, you realize that Trent is a free agent. All right, behind Nowitzki. This is a perfect type of a replacement. This young man has blocked over 100 shots 3 straight years at Syracuse. And that's what they're looking for with the second unit.
He's a lot like Antonio Davis. He's very rugged. He reminds me of Davis, and I think he'll bring that kind of presence to the Dallas front court.
Well, his attitude equals his ability also. I mean, you're talking about work ethic. You're talking about a guy who just plays hard. He's been in a competitive situation. He's developed and gotten better and better. And I made one big mistake with him once in my life, and I'll never say that he cannot play again.
What is this, true confession here tonight?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
The lights are bright. They'll say anything over here on this set. So Etan Thomas goes to the Dallas Mavericks at number 12. Dallas, of course, finishing the year 17-4 and on the upswing, and they picked the Syracuse player Etan Thomas at number 12. Let's go to Segs.
Well, Coach Thompson mentioned your work last week. Said you love to rebound, love to be a shot blocker. But 4 years ago at Syracuse, you weren't even a starter. What did it take? What did you have to do to become the 12th pick in the draft?
Well, it just took, you know, the grace of God and a lot of hard work, motivation. Coach Orr, you know, the assistant coach really, you know, now the head coach with Siena really helped me a lot, you know, just to keep my spirits high even when, you know, other people didn't believe in me when I was a freshman. But I was playing against a great center, Otis Hill, and I just had to just pay my dues and just really work hard to really get better. Dallas is one of the best teams over the last couple of months of the season last year, quietly making a big move. How do you fit in with the team? What do you think about the Mavs? Oh, you know, it's great. You know, I really like the coach Don Nelson. I really like the team. I liked watching them. You know, I'm from Oklahoma, Tulsa, so I got a lot of their games, you know, growing up. You know, I've been a fan for a long time, and I'm just ready to go in there and go to work. Congratulations. The momentum continues for the Mavericks.
Let's go back to Peter Vesey. Let's review where Orlando stands right now, deal-wise, et.cetera. here, Peter.
Well, I mean, Orlando has traded the 13th pick to Dallas, that's for sure. They've traded the number 10 to the Clippers. They've also they got Dooley for the Clippers. And Derek Strong, they've gotten rid of $11 million off their cap over the next 3 years. So that, again, creates so much cap room to sign Duncan, Hill, and Tracy McGrady. They could go after all 3 guys.
What are they getting in exchange there, Peter?
Well, they're getting rid of Derek Strong. That's what they're getting in exchange. And also, from Dallas, they're getting $3 million cash.
All right, let's go to the commissioner. Orlando was up at number
With the 13th pick in the 2000 NBA Draft, The Orlando Magic select Courtney Alexander from Fresno State University.
Courtney Alexander led the country in scoring with nearly 25 points a game in 27 games. And Rick, you know him.
We played against him. He's a terrific player. He gets to the foul line 9 times a game. He can get the ball anywhere he wants to on the court off of a wing position. He plays with an NBA rhythm, and he has great versatility. He's got a block game. He's got a curl game. He's got a little bit of a runner coming in the lane. He's an outstanding scorer. He's the best scorer in this year's draft. He'll command a double on a mismatch by any 2 or 1 guard into the post, and he can go down there and do something with it, and he can rise up and take that ball over most threes. He's really a potent offensive weapon.
Surprised he's down here at number 13, John?
Well, you might be, but so much manipulation is going on now in relation to free agency. And this kid, I agree with Rick in looking at him, is that he's got a pro game. This kid is capable of creating. He's got good size. He's got good attitude. He's not going to be a kid that's going to be afraid to play against good basketball players. But absolutely, he could have gone a lot earlier, Ernie. But right now, with so much manipulation going on, who knows what's going on and where he'll end up being.
Yeah, I think he's NBA ready. He's a guy who plays the NBA game in college, so he's going to be very ready when he steps on the floor. We talk about why did he slip so far. You know what, kids? Growing up, if they say that the things that you do a long time ago sometimes haunt you today, and he has a checkered past, things he did 5 years ago, some NBA scouts and GMs are scared of, and it has nothing to do with his ability, I don't think, right now.
See, he gives you everything, Ernie. He not only gives you the scoring, it's like Rick says, he can play inside, he can come off screens as well as anyone in the draft. He's a rebounding 2 guard. He can get back in there in the defenses and board for you. He has a total pro game.
Let's go down to Craig Sager, who's with Courtney Alexander and son.
Well, I'll tell you what, Ernie. Charles Barkley said it best. They dress a lot better now than when he was coming out in the draft. I'm with Courtney Alexander and Courtney Alexander Jr. First of all, you guys look marvelous tonight.
Thank you. We decided to dress alike tonight.
You led the nation in scoring. What adjustments do you have to make, whether it's with Orlando or whether they trade you to Dallas, in the next level at the NBA?
I think there's numerous adjustments to make. You know, what you have to realize is that, you know, pretty much everyone on this level, you know, did what you did on the college level. There's numerous adjustments I have to make. It's all about situations and opportunities on this level, and I understand that. I may not be asked to do a great deal of scoring. You know, my first couple of years in the league, but you just have to be ready for whatever. Or I may be asked to step in and provide, you know, instant scoring.
There are a lot of different paths to the NBA. You stayed at school as an honor student who got a degree in sociology. What did college mean to you?
You know what, college meant the world to me. I went to college as a boy and I left as a man. I had numerous ups and downs. But, you know, the main thing is that I ultimately, you know, am living out my dream, and I learned from all of the good and bad times that I've had. And like I said, I have a tremendous little boy and little Courtney right here, and a tremendous support group in my family.
Hey, Junior, you're looking awfully sharp tonight. Where'd you get that suit?
Say from the store.
From door.
Well, it's beautiful. What did you do today? Did you have fun today?
Say a lot of fun.
A lot of fun.
All right, well, you look great. Congratulations. Let's go back to Ernie.
There's the green room here at the Target Center. What players are still in there? Martin Cleaves and his Michigan State teammate Morris Peterson. Quentin Richardson is there. And Sakalidis. The Greek, who is there. There's a lot of question about his contract, and they may be scaring a couple of teams off at this point. Let us go to the commissioner, David Stern.
With the 14th pick in the 2000 NBA Draft, the Detroit Pistons select Martin Cleaves from Michigan State University.
And there is Morris Peterson, his teammate, hugging Martin Cleaves. Well, it looks like Michigan State just won the national title again. Now, keep in mind, folks, he's got the hat on, but his mom, Frances, has been known as Mateen was growing up to not stand for wearing hats inside. And, quote, she knocked a few off in her time. But I asked Mateen the other day, is this going to be permissible tonight to wear the hat indoors? He said, until we go to a restaurant, then I'll have to take it off. So Mateen Cleaves is selected here by the Detroit Pistons. Native of Flint, Michigan, this seems like a perfect fit.
You know, he's doesn't have the blow-by speed of a Claxton, and he's got a slow release in his shot, and it's erratic, but color him a winner. He gets the job done. He has great leadership skills. We know firsthand how he tattooed us. He can really orchestrate an attack, run a fast break, makes outstanding passing decisions. I like his spirit and his great passion for the game. He has all these intangibles that far override something relative to his being a little bit small or a little bit slow.
When you first see him, you try to figure out what makes this guy good. How's he scoring? He's not quick. He can't really shoot that great. He doesn't defend that well, but he gets the job done, like Coach said, because, one, he has great fortitude, internal fortitude. He wills. To me, I watch him play, he wills everything. He says, this is going to happen, so it's going to happen.
Well, the guy's a winner, and just what you just saw is what I love about him. He's not afraid to show his emotions and his feelings out on a basketball court. And I think he's a perfect fit. He's in his own backyard. He's also with a team that I think that could use him. So I just love him, and I don't think you can ever underestimate the fact that a guy's a winner, and that's what he is.
Think of his ability as Eric Snow. Very, very carbon copy of Eric Snow.
Mateen Cleaves is excited. He should be, and he's with Craig Sager.
Well, Ernie Johnson started to look like Michigan State just won the national championship. Explain your emotions right now. How do you feel about going to the Pistons, close to Flint, close to East Lansing?
Man, it's a dream come true. You know, I've watched the Bad Boys for years. I grew up a Piston fan, and I'm so happy I can stay at home so all my family and friends can come see me play. And I just love the Pistons. I mean, I love the Pistons. I'm so happy I went there.
Big Ten Player of the Year as a junior. With me, your college coach, Tom Izzo. He stayed for his senior year. Kenny Smith said he willed victories. What was it like, and how instrumental was he to lead you to a national championship?
Well, I think he was critical for our championship run. He's a special player, Craig. You're going to see that he's got great leadership skills, and I think as he grows into his pro debut next year, I think they're going to see a lot of good things from Mateen Cleaves.
Well, every year there's a player here at the draft who's always smiling, always having fun, is everywhere, and seems like he's oblivious to the pressure. That was you. What are the Pistons getting?
Oh, they're going to get a warrior. You know, I'm going to come to practice, and I'm going to work hard every day. That's one thing they're going to get is a warrior, you know, and I'm so happy they just giving me a chance to play in the NBA, and I promise you I'm going to make the best of it.
What's this mean for Flint?
Oh, it means a lot for Flint. What's up, Flint, baby? I'm coming home. Detroit, baby, we going to make it happen. What's up, Tony? I love you, boy. Flint Town is coming home, baby.
I don't know what it is with these Flint guys. We'll probably talk to another one pretty soon. Back to Ernie.
Thank you very much, Craig. That's it right there, folks. That's the NBA draft in a nutshell. Mateen Cleaves just thrilled with what's going on here. We talked about his mom saying, don't wear the hat inside. His dad had two great words of advice for him, or two great reminders. Learn to dribble with both hands or you're not going to make it. And don't let anybody tell you you can't make it. Mateen Cleaves has made it. We'll be back.
With the 15th pick in the 2000 NBA Draft, the Milwaukee Bucks select Jason Collier from Georgia Tech University. Jason is not here.
So actually an Olympic caliber swimmer. And his dad also played at Georgia Tech from 1973 through 1976 and also wore the same number that Jason wore. for the Yellow Jackets. That is number 52. So Jason Collier is selected by the Milwaukee Bucks with the 15th pick here in the first round of the draft. The number 16 pick belongs to the Sacramento Kings, who are on the clock now with about 3 minutes and 45 seconds to go. Sacramento Kings, this is a situation where, you know, going into the lockout year, nobody expected much from this team. Suddenly they have jumped in there, and now people expect the world of them. What is keeping them from getting over the hump, making the next step? Not just making the playoffs, but knocking somebody off.
I think it's maturity. I think overall you have a team that hasn't played together. And when I say maturity, I mean a maturation of playing together, learning each other. And the other thing that I think that they do have to add to this team is probably a little bit more athleticism. With Tariq Abdul-Wahad leaving and bringing in Nick Anderson, they brought in experience, but they lost the athleticism. So they have to bring in some more athleticism to help this team.
Yeah, also they have to get better defensively. There's no doubt about that. You can play that style of play, which is great, because they can put up numbers as well as anyone in professional basketball, but you still have to defend at the other end of the floor. Now remember, at the two-guard position, you have Barry and Delk, free agents. At small forward, you have Williamson and Corbin, free agents. At the center position, Pollard, a free agent. So they have some work to do here in retaining key people, you know, as well as the guy that they're going to draft right now.
Rick.
Two outstanding defenders left that would help him would be either Carrawell from Duke, who really uses his body well defensively and is very smart, rotates exceptionally well, or Mason. I think Mason is the best on-ball defender left in the draft right now at the two positions.
Well, one of the things they have to do is take care of the ball. They pass the ball so well, sometimes they get caught up in how they pass the ball, but it's a great team to watch play. If they can consistently play well and take care of the ball the whole season, I just think they're one of the most refreshing teams to watch if that happens.
Once again, the Sacramento Kings are up. Here's the commissioner.
With the 16th pick in the 2000 NBA Draft, the Sacramento Kings select Hidayet Türkoğlu, who plays for the Efes Pilsen team in Istanbul, Turkey, which happens to be his hometown. Hidayet is not here this evening.
Keep in mind as we show you Hidayet Türkoğlu that the Sacramento Kings have been patient in the past, waiting on Peja Stojakovic a couple of years before bringing him in, and what an impact he's had in some spots starting duty and coming off the bench for them. But how about Türkoğlu?
Well, this young man is rated very high in FIBA basketball, one of the top players. He's a small forward at 6'9", has an offensive game. Now, we brought out the point earlier that Williamson, the starting small forward, is a free agent, and also Tyrone Corbin. So you have no idea what's going to happen here. By drafting him, will he come to the United States? Will he stay in Turkey? But what they're doing here is they're getting a guy who is an offensive player first. This guy can put numbers up.
He's the best shooter on the European continent. He really knows how to find the ball. He knows how to move without the ball to get his shot, and he's extremely versatile. The NBA three-pointer will be easy to him because he's used to the international three, and the trapezoid lane gives him some nice moves in the post. But it's interesting, when John Hubie and I were all talking about, let's get a defender in there for Sacramento. Yeah. And who do they take? The most prolific scorer over in Europe.
But he can run. He can run.
And on the personal side, as David Stern pointed out at the podium, he is from Turkey, and thankfully Kenny has been drawing up maps all day for us too.
I tell you, this was a tough one though.
And so Türkoğlu,
I thought it was a sandwich turkey. I didn't know.
It's chosen number 16 by Sacramento. We have seen a number of players make their way from the green room to the podium. Morris Peterson, Michigan State star, waits his turn, as does Quentin Richardson. Big friend of Darius Miles, by the way. And Sakalidis of Greece, contract situation there, I think, might be keeping some people from drafting him. He's got immense talent, but some people, I think there's some teams Hubie would say, look, I'm not going to go out there if there's no way I'm going to get him into the States anytime soon.
Well, mainly because there's so much money involved, Ernie. He makes a healthy living playing in Greece. And when you talk about it, if you draft him in the United States, the NBA team can only pay $350,000 to the team. Then the player must make up the difference. And that's only if the team is agreeable to allow the player to go. Now, there is a strong rumor that the team in Greece wants to keep him for another year.
We'll explore that as the night goes on. Let's go to the Commissioner David Stern with the next pick.
With the 17th pick in the 2000 NBA Draft, the Seattle Supersonics select Desmond Mason from Oklahoma State University.
Desmond Mason, all Big 12, honorable mention, All-American, scored about 18 points a night, hit 43% from the arc. Rick?
Denial defense extraordinaire. He's a defensive stopper, challenges every shot. He's also a very good shooter. He's a great perimeter shooter. And he's got to get it on the floor a little bit and get to the rim. But I'll tell you something. He's a really nice combination of a guy who can score as well as stop people from scoring. He can just flat out lock you up. He plays for an excellent coach and is a fine defender.
And on the personal side for Desmond Mason, who was chosen number 17 by Seattle, is his artwork. Some artistic skills as a studio art major, computer graphic design. He says the movie industry is going that way. He might want to go there. But right now on his mind is the NBA. There's Al Pacino from Serpico, one of his works. And so where do the Clippers go right here in the state that they're in?
Well, I always feel that once you get down below, you always pick the best available talent, and then you make things fit. Whether you move other people, you bring them in, and you challenge your other people, because this is a ball club that we realize their one-loss record, you know, is at the bottom of the league, and they have talented young people there that you can always backpedal and put more talent in order. And I would think right now they'll go for the best.
Select Quentin Richardson from DePaul University.
They call him Q, Quentin Richardson, big buddy of Darius Miles.
You gotta go, baby.
And a great offensive rebounder, the scouts say. John, what can you tell me about Q?
Well, I love him. You know, I think the guy's hard-nosed. I think he's going to be a much better pro than he's been picked here. I think even though the Clippers don't have a coach, somebody out there certainly has some idea about what they're doing in terms of picking a good player, and I would say that would be Elgin Baylor. But in the same token, I still think this guy can post up. He can score. A lot was expected of him when he came into college. I think he's in a beautiful position now, and I think that he'll be a great pro.
Yeah, I like his game as college as well. If you look at, this is a guy, if he would have came out after his freshman year, probably would have been a higher draft pick because his stock was a lot higher. Staying in school for him hurt him in terms of the NBA draft, but a good pick because he does have a lot of athletic ability. He can score and post inside and demand a double team, and there's two guys that we said earlier that can demand double team.
Well, he's very competitive, too, and that's the thing I like about him.
Led Conference USA in rebounding 2 years, and that's where the #1 pick in this draft resided. Has to develop an in-between game, but I think as a rebounder, he's a great competitor and will channel that to the defensive end.
Well, it's interesting because I think that everyone feels they're going to play him as a 2. And if you play him at the 2-guard position, Derek Anderson right now is a free agent, supposedly is not going to re-sign. Eric Piakowski is still there, signed. You know, this is a good opportunity for Quentin Richardson. So
let's go down to Greg Sager with Q.
Well, Ernie, one of the most surprising things I've seen for the past couple of weeks is Darius Miles and Quentin Richardson. I went to Chicago. There you guys are working out together at Tim Grover. I come here, you're inseparable. I said to you the other day, you guys can get separated. Now you both get picked by the Clippers. What's up?
We family. Big brother, little brother. That's how it is. And we said we was campaigning the whle time for one of these clubs to take us together. And, you know, with God's blessing, it helped. It worked.
You learned the game from your mother. Tragically, she passed away at a very young age. age for you. Your sister Rochelle took over, kind of raised the family. What was the best advice she gave you?
We've never been given anything on a silver plate, so we just have to work hard for everything we get. Tonight is a shining example of that. When I get to the league, I'm going to show everybody and work real hard, and my whole family's always going to be proud of me.
For 31 years, your father has been driving the L in Chicago. What does this mean to him? What do you think his thoughts are right now?
Right now, he's just happy. He's back there sweating a little bit. I told him everything happened for a reason, and, we're going to be all right.
The Clippers have taken some hits lately, last couple of years, but they have a tremendous new building. They have a bright future.
Definitely. Everybody got to start over and start somewhere. So, why not let me and Darius be a good starting point? Last year with Lamar and some of the guys they got there, I think me and Darius can go in there and make some noise.
All right, one happy Clipper. Congratulations. Let's go back to Ernie.
With that young talent, that could be some fun to watch. As he mentions Lamar Odom, the goods already out there with the Clippers. We are into pick number 19. It belongs to the Charlotte Hornets. We'll be back with that after this.
We have a trade. The Orlando Magic have traded Corey Maggette, Derek Strong, the draft rights to Keyon Dooling, and cash to the Los Angeles Clippers for a future first-round pick. With the 19th pick in the 2000 NBA Draft, the Charlotte Hornets select Jamal Crawford from the University of Kentucky.
Jamal Crawford, first-team All-SEC and led the conference in rebounding. 37 blocks in NCAA tournament play. He ties him for third all-time with a guy named Alonzo Mourning. Rick, how about him?
7 foot 6 inch wingspan, number one. Deceptively efficient and doesn't make a lot of noise, but he's sound in all aspects of his game. Got excellent hands. He's the kind of guy who quietly stings you at the end of the night, both on the glass and in the scoring department. He really reads a double team well. He has a good sense for where and when to pass it because he's so accustomed to getting double teamed. A lot of coaches in the SEC felt he was the MVP of that league. And I'll tell you something, he's got a high post jumper and he's got a low post jump hook, and he can space out, turning to his right shoulder for a fadeaway shot.
See, they can play him at two positions, and they need that help because you have Elton Campbell at center, Derek Coleman at power forward. But then Miller, who was an outstanding year for them as a backup center, and then Fuller and Chucky Brown are all free agents. What they're doing here is protecting themselves with a player who can possibly play two positions because of their style of play.
Kenny, how about Jamal Crawford?
Well, it's going to be tough for him to get minutes because they always can use Anthony Mason and put him into that mix as well. But like Hubie said, the insurance policy, you can't have enough big guys in the NBA, and that's what they're doing now. And he has a great deal of talent that can go with that as well.
Well, I was going to say what Kenny is about, what Kenny just said. They've got a lot of fouls on that front line now for Charlotte. I'd hate to have to play inside against them.
And they do have a front line of guys like Campbell and Mason, and they got some beef up there up front as he goes to the Charlotte Hornets with a number 19 pick, Jamal Crawford from Kentucky. Let's review what we also heard from Commissioner David Stern a short time ago, and we've been talking about this as the night's gone on ever since Keyon Dooling was picked at number 10. Orlando packaging here and creating more space as they gear toward free agency and getting some big names in there, Hubie.
Yeah, what it does is it almost allows them to go for 3 free agents rather than just 2. And then when you look at what the Clippers are getting out of this, the Clippers, if you think about it, drafted Miles, Dooling, and Richardson, and now they also get Corey Maggette, who was on everyone's lips last year as a talent, and then they also picked up Derek Strong. So the Clippers are having themselves a nice day today.
It may be time to go back for another interview.
Let's not and say we did. We'll get back to the Clippers.
Barkley is your assistant.
We'll get back to them in just a minute. Now the Philadelphia 76ers are up, and we have heard talk about the answer, Allen Iverson, and possibly would Philadelphia with Larry Brown and Pat Croce move Allen Iverson?
We have another trade. The Houston Rockets have traded the rights to Joe Przybilla to Milwaukee for Jason Collier and a future first. Okay. With the 20th pick in the 2000 NBA Draft, the Philadelphia 76ers select Craig Speedy Claxton of Hofstra University.
Commissioner kind of had the, hey, don't shoot the messenger kind of look on his face there. Hey, I didn't make the trade. I'm just announcing it. Hey. Craig Claxton. Speedy, they call him. And you got to love him.
Got to love him. One, he's a New York City guard. So I've seen him play growing up. But here's a guy who didn't go to a big-time university in terms of notoriety, but made big things happen. To me, he's the best point guard in the draft. He's not, you know, you think of a New York City guard, he's thinking tricks. This guy just get it done. You get off of him, he shoots the three. You get up on him, they do not call him Speedy for nothing. He'll go right by you, and he will dunk on you at 6 foot tall. He's, to me, the best point guard in the draft.
Well, he was outstanding at the Chicago camp, and he definitely elevated himself. And he has a burst from top of the circle to top of the circle. He can get it done, and then once he hits the paint, he can not only make the pass in traffic, but he can finish. And we all realize that we're looking for point guards who can finish for you, run the screen and roll, and then defend. He did a very nice job defensively.
The personal side for Craig Speedy Claxton, you talk about your talented high school squads. How about this one at Christ the King in '96 with Eric Barkley and Speedy Claxton and Lamar Odom, Kenny?
Not a bad trio with the playing with the good. But I tell you, he was one of the guys who got overshadowed because he played with Barkley and Odom. And so he went to a smaller school, but then again, he made big things happen.
With the 21st pick in the 2000 NBA Draft, the Toronto Raptors select Morris Peterson from Michigan State University.
Morris Peterson and Mateen Cleaves are big friends. They were born in the same year. In fact, Morris Peterson was born 12 days before Mateen Cleaves. Mateen Cleaves was picked number 14, and Mo Pete goes 21 here in the 2000 NBA Draft. This guy has really developed and became, you know, from a sixth man to a first-round pick here in the NBA.
He's a 5-year player, number one. He's a lefty. He stays with it. You know what he is? He's unselfish almost to a fault. That characterized that Michigan State team. He played within himself and sacrificed for the team. He really runs the floor very well. He can almost fly. He stretches the defense, and he's got a quick release and a high release. He's actually one of those guys who shoots better when covered, and there's a hand up on him. He almost drills it like Hornacek better than when there's not one on him. I really like his attitude out there. He's going to have to defend much better, make a commitment to that, no question about it. But I'll tell you what, offensively, he'll stretch the defense and open things up. It'd be a great draw and kick guy for Carter to hit.
Now he and Mateen Cleaves will be competitors in the Central Division as they are chosen here on draft night, Hubie.
Now this guy's an excellent catch and shoot. And like Rick said, on the break, he can stop on a dime and hit that medium jump shot for you. In half-court sets, because of the type of talent that they have up there in Toronto, you need guys who can catch and shoot, stretch the D, like Rick said, and make that three-point shot. This was a good pick for them, and I think it's a comfortable place for him to go with his athletic talent.
Yeah, and he'll be a great in that second unit. Another guy who can put the ball in the basket when you have Carter and Christie going to the bench.
Oh, yeah. You know, I was talking to his brother-in-law, Larry Broom, the other day, and Larry's from Houston, was kind of hoping that the Rockets might grab Mo Pete, so he, from a selfish standpoint, could watch him play quite a bit. But he did let me in on a secret that the woman he married, the sister of Morris Peterson, could really play. She's an older sister, and she used to block his stuff in the driveway, and Morris would say, don't let her do that. You can't block my shot. When he was in 9th grade, he finally started whipping his sister on a regular basis and hasn't stopped since. Let's go to Greg.
Well, quite an athletic family. Your father, most senior, played college ball. So did your mother, Valerie. And as Ernie said, your sisters, Trina and Dominique, both did. What does this mean for the family? What are you guys talking about back there?
Well, it means I'm going to have to get a lot of tickets now. But it's great, you know, just having the family support me and being around me. And I think, you know, it's going to be a great situation for me.
You probably sat there hoping your name would be called with each pick. Meanwhile, knowing Lenny Wilkens, he's probably sitting there saying, hey, I want this unselfish guy. I want this team player there available for me. What do you think about going to Toronto?
Well, I think it's a great city. It's definitely a city on the rise. They have some great players. Vince Carter, you know, he's a great player. He does a lot of things, and you know, they bring a lot of excitement. You know, every time I watch their games, you know, you see the crowd into it. And I'm that type of guy. You know, I'm unselfish, and I just want to get an opportunity to play.
You and Mateen Cleaves led Michigan State to a title, but in high school you were arch rivals. Has a new rivalry developed between Detroit and Toronto?
Well, we're right down the road from each other now, so hey, we're going back at it again. But that's my guy. He's a good friend of mine, and I wish the best of luck for him.
Rick Majerus said you sacrificed for the best of the team. What did that national championship mean to you?
Oh, it meant a lot. You know, at that time my grandmother passed, so I was going through a lot of emotional things. But it was great. You know, it was a great situation. I'm just glad I was able to be a part of it. And you know, I'm the type of guy, I do whatever it takes to win. You know, I'll sacrifice anything in order to win. I think that's what winning is supposed to be about.
Well, Mateen was a great teammate, but I think Vince Carter will be too.
Oh yeah, he's exciting. I'm getting ready to learn from one of the best, and hopefully we can make something happen.
With the 22nd pick in the 2000 NBA Draft, the New York Knicks select Donnell Harvey from the University of Florida.
Donnell Harvey, 1 year with the Gators, the second Gator from the runner-up team to go with Mike Miller selected tonight. 2 members of the champion Spartans of Michigan State selected. John, your eyes kind of light up when you see the game this guy brings.
Rebound, rebound, and more rebounds. You're talking about a kid here, but the New York got a steal, in my opinion. This kid was one of the #1 players in the country when he came out of high school. He loves to rebound, and he doesn't care who's in his way. He's basically a post-up player. Will extend his game with maturity, but I'm telling you, you're looking at a warrior right here.
He has a special talent that very few players have, and that's to get the basketball. And I think if you put all of these guys that are on these lists and you throw a basketball up and say, somebody go get it, that's the guy who's going to come down with it. Everyone else will be watching.
Mark Bradley of the Atlanta Journal-Constitution calls him Dennis Rodman without the tattoos. He is that ferocious on the boards. We'll be back.
With the 23rd pick in the 2000 NBA Draft, the Utah Jazz select Deshaun Stevenson from Washington Union High School in California.
So for the second time tonight, a high schooler is chosen. This time, Kenny Deshaun Stevenson.
Deshaun, overall, you know, most of the high school guys that come in aren't physically ready. He is physically ready in terms of his body. He has great athleticism. He's a streaky shooter, but his athleticism outweighs it. I think that he's going to be an NBA starting 2 guard for a long time in the NBA.
Got great lift on his shot. I'll tell you what he does. Most high school kids dominate with a body like that because of physical attributes or because of athletic ability. He has skills as well. His skills are very good. He's got a nice left hand for a high school kid. Quite frankly, he goes left almost as well as he does right to a score. He's a guy who has a nice feel for the game, too. His sense of passing the ball, and he has a good efficiency to his game. He doesn't overhandle and over-dribble. He's definitely a high school star. He's going to be a good player 3 years out.
What a busy, busy night for the Chicago Bulls as they try to get back to the level they once were, Kenny.
Well, like I said earlier, they're getting physical. They're doing something different. They had a really good finesse-type team when they won championships, as well as some physicality. But right now, they're a grind-you-out team with Elton Brand, Artest now, and Marcus Fizer. So they're going to have to find probably a guard who is kind of physical as well and do the same type of thing.
Speaking of Elton Brand, who you just mentioned, of course, last year he was the #1 pick in the draft, and he sharing Rookie of the Year honors with Steve Francis of the Houston Rockets. Elton Brand, and he told us after the season, was stung early on in his season last year by some of the folks who said, I don't know if they made the right decision here with Elton Brand as the #1 pick. This may have been a mistake. He really came on strong last year.
Listen, the guy had scored 20 points a game, 10 rebounds a game. There are only a couple people in the league that did that. and then shot a very high percentage, close to 50%. So in his initial year, he did a remarkable job.
Let's see if Chicago adds to the mix tonight. Another pick. They've got 6 of them overall in this draft, and Commissioner David Stern making his way to the podium even as we speak.
With the 24th pick in the 2000 NBA Draft, the Chicago Bulls select Dalibor Bagaric, who plays for the Benston team in Zagreb, Croatia, which happens to be his hometown.
Little early birthday present for Bagaric, who turns 20 on Sunday, July the 2nd. A 7-footer. Weighing 255 pounds and a Croatian all-star in the 99-2000 season. This looks like a 7-Eleven surveillance video, but take my word for it, he's in there somewhere.
Well, he's a talented player because there are other people behind this pick that are interested in this young man. Now, right now, you see the size, and you have to put in front of it his age. He's only a youngster. So what they're thinking about here is not only size, he's an offensive player. This year in the Croatian Pro League, he came in at 18 points a game, so you know he has some offensive talent. Now, once you come to the NBA, you add the years onto his body, and then we know that he will develop in the upper side. I think that Chicago is starting to make a step here to answer that center position.
And they make that selection with Dalibor Bagaric here at number 24.
With the 25th pick in the 2000 NBA Draft, the Phoenix Suns select Iakovos Sakalidis from Athens, Greece, who's currently playing in the Greek Professional League.
The glad hand all around for Iakovos Sakalidis. 7'1½", 283 pounds. And the 25th pick by the Phoenix Suns. This guy, a legend in European basketball.
This is Pete Newell's guy. Newell is extolling the virtues of this guy and actually believes that he has a chance to match the Shaq with his body and lower body strength in particular, or at least perhaps keep Shaq out of the paint and getting those deep paint catches. He's got a nice touch. He goes by the nickname of Big Jake. I think that's probably a lot easier to call him by than those other two names. He has interesting feet. He has good footwork. He can move his feet, keeps a low, wide lateral base, and plays small to big in the post. You know, he plays from a power position, and he has a very gifted touch. He's got really nice hands and puts a softball up on the rim.
QB, how would he compare with the other big men we've seen in this draft?
Well, what he is you know that he can defend, he can block shots, he's a little slow of foot, but he can surprise you because he can shoot the shot facing the basket. Now, he did extremely well in the majority of his workouts. That's why teams at the top were interested. Now, whether or not this letter has, scared people off. Now, let's look at Phoenix's situation. You have Luke Longley at the center position. Then you have Oliver Miller and Mark West. Your two backups are both free agents. Now, can you entice this team in Greece to release him, to come to play next year, or is this a pick for the future to hold his rights?
We are going to pick number 26. We'll be back.
With the 26th pick in the 2000 NBA Draft, the Denver Nuggets select Mamadou Ndiaye from Auburn University, who was born in Dakar, Senegal.
Mamadou Ndiaye, number 4 in the SEC in rebounding, number 2 in blocks behind Stromile Swift of LSU. Had 77 blocks in '99.
Well, you're dealing with size and strength and shot blocking, and that's what they're trying to add to the Denver team. Denver is another type of a ball club that can put numbers up, but what you're trying to do now is to improve your depth and then also improve your interior defense.
Everybody needs a center, and I'll tell you something here. If you're willing to work, you can see his athletic ability right there on film. With that type of size, and he's got nice bounce, you're going to be able to score some. And what I think he should do is be an excellent runner of the floor. He's the kind of guy that can get out some in transition and put pressure on a guy. And I think he can come over and make some noise off of the ball.
With the 27th pick in the 2000 NBA Draft, the Indiana Pacers select Primož Brežić from Olimpija Ljubljana of Slovenia, which happens to be the country of his birth.
He was on the under-22 national team in 97-98, under-22 all-star first team, and he is 6'11", 243. You saw him at the draft camp in Chicago, Hubie?
Yeah, and he played. He's thin. During the course of this past professional season, he played more as a power forward. I think that he's very young for his age. You know, we say that because he's tall, but he's very thin. And I don't think that he showed that he can overpower anybody in the low post at this time in his career. But he's interesting because of length and the fact that he knows the game and he works extremely hard.
Yeah, but most of the time they have to take size, because when you take a backcourt guy, he's got to set your offense, your defense. Language becomes more of a problem to you. And particularly in basketball, where we use so much slang, your big guys, in a lot of instances, you can place them and put them in various positions. But if you notice in the draft, most of the time when they take a foreign player, they'll take a big player. Most of our players that go overseas are large players for the same reason.
Let's talk about the impact that some of these guys have made, and down through the years, the highest picks among the international field. Dirk Nowitzki, taken 9th by Milwaukee, has since wound up with the Dallas Mavericks, but Peja Stojakovic, and we talked about Sacramento waiting for him to come along. Frederick Weiss was chosen last year, number 15 by the Knicks. There's still, all you have to do is make a qualifying offer to maintain, retain the rights, and he may be there in another year or two, possibly with New York. And the list goes on with Zydrunas Ilgauskas, who's been hampered by injuries, Rencius, and certainly Arvydas Sabonis. We're up to number 28 now in round one, and the ball is in Portland's court.
With the 28th pick in the 2000 NBA Draft, the Portland Trailblazers select Eric Barkley from St. John's University.
I'll let John and Kenny flip over who gets to talk about this guy first. Go ahead, John.
It doesn't matter who gets to talk about him first. The rich just got richer. Because I'm going to tell you something. This kid can flat out play. He's got a great work ethic. He can play. He can shoot. He can drive. He can do everything. I can't say enough about it.
Well, you kind of saw this coming. This is one way I was talking to Hubie about it before it happened. Because one thing he does have is savvy. A lot of guards have to try to figure out the NBA game. He already knows how to play the game. He's probably played in more basketball games, or just as many as 7-year vets, because he played AAU, he's played in college, he's played all over the place. So the guy does know how to play, a great deal of savvy and street smart.
What is this? Go ahead, John.
I thought it was only necessary to play one thing. From New York City, Hubie. I thought you were going to say that.
That definitely helps with that thing.
See,
it definitely helps.
Himself. Portland's protecting himself right here because you have Greg Anthony, you know, a major catalyst in their rotation, is a free agent right now. And Eric Barkley, we all know, can make the play. He's a true, legitimate point guard, and you don't have to worry about a guy running a team. He knows how to run a team.
With the 29th pick in the 2000 NBA Draft, the Los Angeles Lakers select Mark Madsen of Stanford University.
Mark Madsen, a power forward, and keep in mind, folks, that today the Lakers waived AC Green. So Mark Madsen, their selection in the first round. They call him Mad Dog.
Outstanding rebounder, really gets out of his area to get a rebound and can run down a long rebound. He's very powerful. really strong, takes the ball up strong, pops the rebound. Nice deep outlet with two hands. He's got a nice outlet to the long game. He's a guy who can get to the foul line. He's not as efficient as he should be when he gets there. He's a suspect foul shooter, but he's a guy who'll give you 100%. Going to be an outstanding defender and someone who's going to be able to root people out and play them before they get to the post. He'll be able to run ahead of a guy, get down the floor, body him out, bump him coming down the lane, and knock him around. He's an outstanding screener. He's going to generate offense for others by his unselfishness.
The Mad Dog is chosen by the Los Angeles Lakers with the final pick of round 1. So that does it. Round 2 is right around the corner here on TNT, and we thank you for spending your draft night with us.